This video I'm going to make this little window screen for my basement windows. Just use some scrap wood and some bulk spline and some nylon window screen. I set my fence to 5/8 of an inch and then I started to cut that board into two pieces. And please trust me when I tell you the blade has thoroughly stopped spinning at this point. I lowered it down to about 1/4 of an inch high so I can do a partial kerf cut or basically make a groove. And then I test the spline to see if it fits in just one blade width, and it does not. So I moved the fence a little bit over and tested it again, and that did seem to work. So back over the blade again for those two boards. Then I marked out my first miters to cut out my first two pieces, and then I used those to measure out the other two pieces. I don't mean to show off or be boastful, but I am blessed with a very fast and accurate derailleur miter saw. So that made pretty quick work of that. After that was done, I took the pieces over to my assembly bench and just glued the corners together. Now I thought about adding some splines or some, I don't know, some different kinds of joinery to this, but I thought maybe the glue is enough. We'll see. Time will tell. You'll also notice I'm fussing around with a combination of T-tracks and bench dogs. I'm not sure what I like more. Got those wedges there. Kind of experimenting. After that, I left it alone overnight. And the next morning, I came back and look who I see. It's Greg, awake from his 16-hour nap. Then I start sanding and Greg goes away. On one of the edges of one of the pieces of that frame, there was a little round over left over from that wood's former life as a 2x6, so I took the router with an 1/8 inch roundover bit and continued that roundover all the way around the inner front face of that frame. And of course that doesn't quite reach into the inner corner, so got the sander back out again and finished off that roundover. And then I went back at it by hand to get where the sander didn't reach. Okay, it's ready for primer and paint. Exterior grade for both. Fussing around with everybody's favorite plastic painter's points. Nails in a board works really well too. And then that dried overnight, and here I am cutting the screen a little oversized, and there I start to put the spline in with my fingertips and my thumb, and then I reach for the special spline insertion roly-poly dingus. Very helpful tool that doesn't get that much use for anything else. And then you trim the excess and it is finished. There it is. Pretty happy with how it turned out. It's always amazing to me how tight the screen ends up being in the frame. It's a good system. It was a little too tight to actually fit it in from the inside, so I went around outside and tapped it into place with a block. Naturally, I considered if I should put hooks or latches or something in there to keep it in place, but I figured friction would be good enough and easy to pop out in case I needed an emergency egress. I appreciate you watching. I hope you feel inspired and empowered to build your own screen if you have the need.